A good friend of mine tells a story of when he was talking to a friend about his teenager, and he says, I've got a teenager. And his friend says, "Oh, I'm sorry." And it kind of hurt me when I heard that. I thought, do teenagers have such a bad rap? Is adolescence such an awful thing that every one of us has to be afraid of it? How come we're not better equipped to parent during adolescence? Why are so many parents afraid of that time of life? Well, this video is going to be all about which type of parenting is most effective during adolescence. I'm Nicholeen Peck. I'm a teaching self-government and parenting expert, and I understand teens and adolescents because for years I did treatment foster care in my home for troubled youth, all between the ages of 12 and 18. People try practically everything during adolescence to get through to their children. They feel like it's so hard. I've seen videos where people are taking their child's phones or tablets or computers and taking guns and blowing holes in them because they're so mad that their child is so addicted to those devices or have ruined relationships because of them. People are starting to do drastic things to try to help their teens or adolescents have a change of heart. Well, during adolescence, you can have a change of heart without being manipulated, controlled, without the environment being aggressive, and without your parent also letting you do whatever you want and focusing on being your best friend. None of those styles of parenting, none of those models, whether it's the permissive, modern progressive model of being the friend or the model of being that bully, that fear-based person in the life of the child, is going to be effective at helping that adolescent have a change of heart. So what does the adolescent need developmentally in their brain at the time that they are in your home? If we can know what's happening on the inside of them, what they need and crave most, then we can be more effective in all of our parenting interactions. There are 4 things that adolescents need from us more than anything else. I mean, I could make a huge list. In no way are these 4 things exhaustive, but they are vital for the developmental needs of your adolescent. Number 1, they need leadership. I know that they act like they don't want to listen to you. They even put up a fuss and just walk away sometimes, potentially, but they want you to lead them. They want you to show them where their boundaries are. Where should they stop? They need to know what direction they're headed. The leader points that direction. The leader is the one that they look to even when they act like they're not. Parents give children that much security when they maintain their parental authority in the home. This does not mean that we have to be aggressive, and it also doesn't mean that we have to be their best friend. We just need to know who we are in their lives, what is our role as parents, and we need to know what their role is as adolescents. They also need to understand those roles. In fact, I thought that roles were common knowledge, and I've realized that in recent modern history, people have lost touch with the power that roles have in our overall well-being, our success, and in the health of our relationships. So I actually wrote a book called Roles: The Secret to Family, Business, and Social Success. And that is a book that an adolescent can read and discuss with their parents, and that parents can read and actually do some of the conversations that the parents of adolescents have in that book with their child. So you choose how you want to use it, but it could be really helpful. Remember, they need a leader. And if you are not the leader, then you are not protecting them and guiding them, and they will look for somebody else to be their leader. Number 2, they need an example. Now, this example is slightly different than the leadership. It's not necessarily based on authority. It's just you showing them the right way to achieve happiness and to live with purpose. It's you showing them how important relationships really are. They see priorities when they see the way that you live your life. So instead of trying to control them and manipulate them, set the example. You be the one who's in control of yourself and focused on sacrificing for something that is good so that they will do the same. Effective parents are honest. If you want to be effective with your adolescent, then you've got to be telling the truth. No manipulation. This means that when there's something that needs to be addressed, you talk about the full situation. When they need to know a change that they need to make, you've got to level with them. Don't sugarcoat something like, oh, I know that can be, a real struggle. Instead say, I know this is hard, but this is why you need to do it. This is what people think when you do it this way. This is how you disempower yourself when you do it this way. They need to know the truth about their roles, the truth about your roles, the truth about what it really means to be in control of themselves, the truth about manipulation, the truth about attention seeking, and the truth about the skills that they need for future success. So that brings me to number 4. Number 4, self-government. Your adolescent wants desperately to be in control of themselves and their destiny. They want to know they're going to be a success. They're worried about it. Really effective parents keep that in mind, and they give their adolescents what they need to be fully empowered. That means they give them the skills and the know-how for how to govern themselves. So in our family, we teach 4 basic skills for self-government. They are following instructions, accepting no answers, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. If a person learns all 4 of those 4 basic skills, that takes care of 99% of their behavioral problems. Well, that's a relief to the parents, but it does something else. Those 4 basic skills teach the child that they can conquer themselves. And if they can conquer themselves, if they can choose to keep a calm face, voice, and body when someone tells them no, if they can choose to disagree appropriately instead of argue back, they have conquered the beast within. And if they've conquered that beast within, there is nothing they can't do, and they know it. Those skills build confidence in the child, and they help them thrive. This style of parenting that I'm talking about is what I call traditional strict parenting. It's a type of parenting that's planned ahead of time and keeps the needs of the child and the parent in mind. Here are 6 characteristics that make great traditional strict parenting. Number 1, it has to be planned, which means we don't just fly by the seat of our pants. Number 2, the parenting is based on morals, values, and principles, which means that the parents can't have any problem declaring certain things right or wrong and being the moral authority for their child, which is what we're supposed to be so that they don't have to figure out everything on their own. Number 3, consistent or consistency. A parent that is going to help an adolescent thrive and do the best in their lives does consistent teaching. They consistently, proactively teach their child, which means tells them ahead of time the skills they need and what they need to be focusing on. But they also consistently praise their child when things go right, and they consistently correct their child when things go wrong. If adolescents have consistency, then they will properly learn cause and effect. Characteristic number 4 is united. This means that the whole family feels like they are one group. Good parenting for adolescents does not make everything about the adolescent. The last thing the teenagers in our society need is more things that cater to their sense of entitlement and their feeling of deserving certain treatment or certain things. They need to see themselves as part of a group, a functioning group, not just a fun group. And that functioning group that's going to teach them the very most is the family. So we've got to create a family culture where everyone feels united, like they're working together and like they care. And if your child is not wanting to bond to the family, then that's a pretty big clue that they need to take a break from other friends, other social outlets, activities, and probably especially media. Number 5, relationship-based. So a really great, effective teaching style is always relationship-based, which means the relationships come first. This doesn't mean that we coddle, pamper, or give in order to try to preserve a relationship. That isn't putting the relationships first. In fact, that's actually putting yourself first because you don't want to deal with strengthening the relationship through solving a problem. When you put the relationships first, what that actually means is that you bond all the time. That correcting a child isn't an emotional thing. It's just something you feel okay doing because it's part of who you are. It's your role. You need to point that out as the leader to correct them. And it's okay with them too. Everyone knows that corrections happen. They're part of life. It's no big deal. This is the type of tone or feeling that you should have in your home. And if you focus on putting those relationships in a really good place as a family by creating a family vision, which is something I talk about in my parenting course, and having family meetings, other things that I talk about in the course, and having good, predictable communication, which includes self-government skills, then your children are going to feel safe, connected, bonded to you, and feel like they'll always be understood, which is exactly the recipe of a good relationship. Characteristic number 6 is self-government. Self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. So this means that a person is in control of themselves. Well, what's one of our hardest things to control? Our tone, our calmness, our anxieties, our stresses, our frustrations. These are characteristics of great, effective parenting when we are working with adolescents or any age child, or any person for that matter. When a person has self-government, there's a sense of confidence about them. And if you're going to be the leader for your child, they need to have confidence in your ability to lead. If you're being emotional and stressed, you're not going to be that confident person that they can look up to. As you can see, parenting styles significantly impact the adolescent. In fact, there are many impacts that the style that we choose for our parenting has on the overall temperament of the child. If you've liked this video, I think you'll enjoy the next one, which is how do parenting styles significantly impact the child's temperament? Click there, get some more learning, and then you're off to a good start.